Hassan in Slough, I'm not expecting you to agree with me.
Hi, Rachel. Yes, I am pro-life.
Hold on. What you mean is you're anti-abortion. I think
yes.
Everybody, what you're not is pro-choice.
Yes, it is an interesting phraseology, the choice for what? I would say I'm anti-abortion, yes. Pro-choice for life, yes. Pro-choice for abortion, no.
Now, so listen, I mean, just it makes me so angry, the phrase pro-life, because what you're pro is not the life of the woman who's carrying an unwanted child, who may be the victim of rape or incest, who may be carrying a child that could cause her to lose her own life if she carried that child to term. You're not pro the life of a teenage girl who's been raped, who may have to devote the rest of her life to the fact that she's being forced to carry that child to term. You're not pro the lives of the doctors who could be accused of murder for helping a girl in need to secure or procure an abortion, are you? You're just pro the life of the cells and the unborn fetal cells of that child.
Yes, it is a very strong argument you have raised. And in terms of the cells or the fetus, you and I, all of us listening, are also a bunch of cells. In terms of the life of the mother, I think that you talk to any anti-abortion activists, they will say that there'll be some circumstances where abortion should be allowed, and you painted one picture, which is if the mother's life is in danger. Now, a lot of your listeners who are campaigning for the right to abortion will hear me and think, well, here's a guy, he doesn't have a womb, what right does he have to limit the choices, abortion choices of women? And let's not forget, in 1973, when the Roe versus Wade discussion took place, and the Supreme Court judges, all 9 judges were men. There are men who are pro choice for abortion. We've heard from Joe Biden, Judge Rob Rinder here in the UK. So this is not a gender issue, and there are women who are pro campaigning against abortion. So this is not a gender issue. This is about whether we consider the fetus or the baby inside the womb to be a human life or not. I think I've engaged with feminists and activists over the last 20, 30 years. We can engage in dialogue without getting polarized, as we see in America. And, I don't want to see that sort of polarization, but it is possible to engage in dialogue and debate and agree to disagree and move on. But I think that the millions because since 1973, 1 billion babies have been killed around the world. Now, if, as a result of the Supreme Court
babies
decision,
have not been killed. Just please, can we? You said you wanted to have a reasoned debate, but just using inflammatory language like that, very early terminations is not a baby being killed. It's a future life that's being terminated most often weeks or a couple of months, 3 months. Don't forget there are term limits to abortions.
Yes, there are term limits, and there are. I think in some parts of America, I think in New York, under Ralph Northam or Andrew Cuomo, I can't remember, that abortion is allowed until full term. See, the term limits is actually irrelevant, I would say, because the right to choose is the right to choose regardless of how old the baby is or the fetus inside the womb. Do you understand?
Well, in this country, abortion is illegal when it's signed off by doctors up to 24 weeks. So, it's very, very rare that you will have a full-term termination, isn't it, Hassan? I mean, vanishingly rare. So it's a sort of, it's a paper tiger to try and inflame people against abortion. It's so vanishingly rare, it's almost an insignificant number of times this happens. And the vast majority, which is why the heartbeat law in Texas was so invidious and started this off, the vast majority of women don't know they're pregnant until about 6 to 8 weeks. Because you just can't tell. You can't detect a fetal heartbeat until 6 to 7 weeks. And then, in what? How many states is it now? That's already you can't do anything about it. You are committed to having a baby in that state unless you travel to a state which hasn't yet terminated abortion rights.
I mean, I agree with you that the late-term abortion is very rare. It is in a very small percentage. And I would say rape and incest is also very rare in a small percentage. But it is still important to discuss that. And whilst this debate, can go on, I think we can still engage.
Okay, Hassan, what about, the many times that, a teenage girl may get pregnant because, contraception has failed. She's a teenage girl. Do you think it's right that she should be made by law to carry that child to term, possibly altering the course of the rest of her life, rather than allow her, if she so desires, to seek a legal and safe termination wherever she is?
Well, the cut-off line, I'd say, is actually when the mother's life is in danger.
So that's the only time you could countenance a termination?
Yes, but Chancellor, your example about an unwanted pregnancy, or unplanned pregnancy.
Or accidental. I mean, contraception often fails. It's not 100% foolproof.
Sure, no, I understand.
Okay, Hassan, I think we're not going to get any further. I think I know where you stand. I think you know where I stand. I want to squeeze in Simon in Edinburgh. Hi, Simon. We've got a couple of minutes, no more.